Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sweet. After getting a feel for the powers of those other gods and their light, Uchiha Itachi stretched, feeling good. Thanks to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, whether he used time acceleration, time regression, or those reality-bending powers, the side effects weren't too bad. As long as he didn't off himself by going crazy and overusing his eye power, there were basically no side effects, and his eyes wouldn't go blind. Next up is the Rinnegan. The thought made Uchiha Itachi's eyes sharpen as he fell into contemplation. In the original story, Madara Uchiha acquired Hashirama's cells after their battle at the Valley of the End. Then, on his deathbed, he tapped into the chakra of the Sage of Six Paths, evolving his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan into the Rinnegan. Whatever, let's deal with the Konoha Village stuff first. A smile crossed Uchiha Itachi's face as he shook his head, not wanting to overthink it. After all, he had a god-tier sign-in system, he just needed to sign in step by step to get stronger. Besides, he'd killed Uchiha Shisui. Danzo, that old hawk, had to be losing it right now. The show was about to begin, and for some reason, Uchiha Itachi was suddenly looking forward to the moment when Danzo, the masked man, and Itachi massacred the Uchiha clan. In the days that followed, Konoha Village remained as peaceful as ever. Even the death of Uchiha Shisui didn't cause a stir. Neither the Uchiha clan nor the village elders voiced any concerns. Rumor had it that Shisui had lost his mind and committed suicide by jumping into the Naka River. Most of the civilians and ninjas just pitied Shisui. The famed Shisui of the body flicker having a mental breakdown. What most of them didn't realize was that the Uchiha clan was keeping an even lower profile than usual. Meanwhile, the Root and Umbu forces of Konoha were meeting more frequently. This caused the slightly larger clans in Konoha to grow wary. They weren't idiots, they knew that beneath the calm surface, a storm was brewing, and something big was about to go down. Konoha Village, the Root headquarters, inside a dimly lit, cold office. Uchiha Itachi, have you made up your mind? Danzo twisted his bandaged right arm, his face grim. Shisui's dead. The Uchiha clan and the village are even further apart. Now is the perfect opportunity to implement the Uchiha extermination plan. We'll catch them off guard. Is there really no other way? Hearing this, Itachi, wearing an ANBU uniform and a cat mask, his katana strapped to his back, winced. Shisui was willing to die. Isn't that enough? Danzo frowned and snapped, it's not nearly enough. The only way to solve this problem is for the Uchiha clan to disappear from Konoha. Sigh. Itachi sighed in despair. Neither he nor Danzo suspected that someone else had killed Shisui. Maybe the bad blood ran too deep. Everyone misunderstood each other. The Uchiha clan thought the village elders had killed Shisui. The village elders thought Shisui had killed himself. In the end, both sides tacitly agreed to the cover story that Shisui had been mentally unstable and jumped into the river. Itachi, agree or disagree? Danzo was getting impatient, his voice rising. If you don't agree, we'll do it ourselves. You know what the consequences will be. Fine. He had no choice, especially since the third Hokage wasn't seeing him anymore. The Konoha leaders had made up their minds, to prevent Konoha Village from falling into civil war, for the sake of Konoha's prosperity, and to protect Sasuke, Itachi had no choice but to agree. Wise choice. Danzo slowly stood, nodding with a smirk. We'll do it in 3 days, in the evening. You better kill your own parents, or Fugaku might put up a fight. I know. Suddenly, Itachi's eyes turned a strange crimson as he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. A terrifying wave of chakra emanated from him. Danzo, I'll agree to your conditions, but, if Sasuke Uchiha suffers in Konoha, don't blame me for what comes next. Don't worry. We know what to do. Danzo nodded, his face dark. With you around, we wouldn't dare lay a finger on Sasuke. What about Uchiha Itachi? Who's dealing with him? Itachi seemed to remember something. He was a rare talent in Konoha 7 years ago. He's not weak. Don't worry. Someone will take care of him. Just a physical style ninja. We'll send him on his way. Speaking of Uchiha Leonien reminded Danzo of the insults and scorn he'd received. Leonien had even said he wasn't worthy of getting involved with the Uchiha clan. Now, he was not only getting involved, but he was going to wipe them out right in front of him. Good. Itachi gave Danzo a long, hard look, then vanished. What a waste of a Mangekyo Sharingan. After Itachi left, a hint of greed flickered in Danzo's eyes. But when he thought of Fugaku's Mangekyo Sharingan, he calmed down. This time, he wasn't just destroying the Uchiha clan, he was also going to plunder as many Sharingan as possible and transplant them onto his arm. Chapter 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You want to wrap this up in 3 days, yeah, right. It wasn't long after Itachi Uchiha left that a slight ripple in space announced the arrival of the masked man, Obito Uchiha, in Danzo Shimura's office. His voice was flat, devoid of warmth. Indeed. Danzo, seemingly unfazed by the elusive masked man, responded without looking up. This time, the third Hokage will turn a blind eye. The Umbu will also assist us, erecting a massive barrier to encompass the entire Uchiha district. Speed is crucial. We need to eliminate the Uchiha clan as quickly as possible. Understood. Obito Uchiha, still masked, nodded expressionlessly. If you're feeling insecure, I could help you hire some outside help for this, unprecedented extermination. Nope. Danzo shot down the suggestion immediately, he scoffed internally. Sure, the Uchiha had numbers, but the actual number of Sharingan users was relatively low. The more outsiders involved, the fewer Sharingan eyes he'd get his hands on. Suit yourself. Obito Uchiha shrugged, indifferent. He was just throwing it out there. He never expected the selfish Danzo to agree. By the way, Uchiha Ryuen, he's your responsibility. Are you confident in handling him? Danzo glanced at the masked Obito, a hint of suspicion in his eyes. 7 years ago, Ryuen Uchiha was a taijutsu prodigy. He might be Kage level by now. And a Kage level taijutsu master isn't exactly a pushover. Danzo's tone betrayed his doubts. This masked man was always shrouded in mystery. No one truly knew the extent of his abilities. Don't worry. He's a dead man. Hearing this, Obito Uchiha's tone shifted, becoming sharp and edged with resentment. This time, I'll show the Uchiha what a real genius looks like. He scoffed again. Before the sound faded, another spatial distortion swallowed Obito Uchiha, and he vanished from the office. What got into him? Ryuen Uchiha being a genius on par with Kakashi is common knowledge. Danzo frowned, puzzled. He couldn't grasp why Obito, usually so emotionless, would react so strongly at the mention of Ryuen Uchiha. It was like dealing with a scorned lover. I hope you don't disappoint. I should prepare for the Uchiha's destruction. After a moment, Danzo refocused, his gaze drawn to a map spread before him. It detailed the Uchiha clan's layout, the patrol routes of their ninja guards, and their shift schedules. He scoffed in anticipation. After leaving Danzo's office, Obito Uchiha materialized in a training ground in the heart of Konoha. As if struck by a painful memory, his fist clenched, and his face contorted into a mask of rage and frustration. Obito, you're too weak. Too weak. Did you even eat today? Seriously, you're pathetic. Images of his past failures flooded Obito's mind, intensifying the chilling aura that emanated from him. While Ryuen Uchiha was hailed as a genius comparable to Kakashi, Obito was at the bottom of the class. Being Uchiha clan members of the same age, a sense of rivalry was inevitable. Obito often challenged Ryuen Uchiha, but every time, he was utterly defeated. Eventually, Obito stopped challenging Ryuen, because almost every single time, he was sent flying by one of Ryuen's punches, helpless to defend himself. Once, 10 times, 20 times, with each defeat, Ryuen Uchiha became an unshakable obsession in Obito's mind, much like Rin Nohara's death. Now that the Uchiha were to be eliminated, Obito was determined to kill Ryuen Uchiha with his own hands and finally exorcise the demons that had haunted him for so long. Something's off with your emotions. From beneath the earth, the fused black and white Zetsu emerged. White Zetsu frowned, voicing his confusion. Nothing. Really? White Zetsu paused, then chuckled. Don't tell me you're still getting punched around by Ryu and Uchiha, are you? Shut up, Obito snapped, his sore spot thoroughly rubbed. Alright, White Zetsu snickered. It is strange, though. Black Zetsu's voice was raspy. Every time we monitor Ryu and Uchiha, he's always training his taijutsu, like a tireless machine. Black Zetsu sounded genuinely surprised. Actually, when they were looking for a replacement for Madara Uchiha, Ryu and Uchiha was also a candidate, but after a long period of observation, Madara Uchiha himself chose to give up Ryu and Uchiha. In Madara Uchiha's words, no matter how strong the taijutsu, it was useless. Don't worry about it. Obito forced a cold smile, took a deep breath to regain control, and said, this time, I'm settling old scores. The Uchiha should just disappear. Okay. Black and White Zetsu nodded in unison. As they say, a villain is 10 times stronger after turning evil, while the good guys are 3 points weaker after redemption. The Obito who had turned evil was no longer a loser, and dealing with Ryu and Uchiha should be easy. As for the reason for exterminating the Uchiha, it wasn't just that Madara Uchiha instilled his helplessness and despair for the Uchiha into Obito, but Obito, who agreed with the Eye of the Moon plan, didn't want to be limited to the power of one clan. Chapter 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flies in the blink of an eye. 3 days had passed. That evening, a full moon hung in the sky. Just like during the nine-tailed fox attack, the entire Hidden Leaf village was bathed in bright moonlight, with an almost palpable chill in the air. Throughout the village, every family, big and small, seemed to have gotten the word. They'd all ordered their ninja to stay put. Basically, no matter what went down tonight, nobody was allowed to leave their house, and to make sure things didn't get out of hand, the Umbu were out in force, all geared up for a fight, in the central district, inside the Hokage's office. Another sleepless night, huh? Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, puffed on his pipe, then sighed. Haha, blame it on the Uchiha clan. Hiruzen, even the second Hokage couldn't pull this off. We're about to finish the job. Shouldn't we be celebrating? Hamura Mitokado and Koharu Utatane, the elder council members, turned toward him, their old faces looking grim, as if they'd just accomplished some major historical feat. Indeed, the third Hokage chuckled, exhaling a plume of smoke, and nodded. He'd always believed in gradually weakening the Uchiha clan. Now that Danzo Shimura was willing to take the fall, he was happy to let him. Anyway, he already had a plan for what to do with Danzo and Itachi Uchiha after the Uchiha were gone. Hiruzen, after the Uchiha clan is wiped out, the Konoha garrison force will be handed over to us, the elder council. Koharu smiled, revealing her intentions. We've had our eyes on the garrison force for a long time, you know. You've got the Umbu, Danzo's got Root, and we get the Konoha garrison force. Hamura added with a grin. Fine. The third Hokage gave them a long, hard look before finally agreeing. They were all in this together, after all. He wasn't afraid of any funny business from the elder council. Excellent. Then we'll await the good news from Danzo. Koharu and Hamura exchanged glances, their expressions visibly lightening now that they'd gotten what they wanted. It's about to begin, isn't it? The third Hokage's eyes narrowed as he took another satisfying puff from his pipe. Meanwhile, in the Uchiha district, maybe it was because of Shisui Uchiha's sudden death, but the whole district felt tense, on the verge of collapse. Especially under the moonlight, it felt like a storm was brewing, because he knew the layout of the Uchiha compound and the guard rotation schedule. Figures slipped into the Uchiha district like ghosts. Itachi had already taken care of the Uchiha clan's sensory ninja, the one on guard duty for the night. No one noticed anything amiss. Inside the Uchiha compound, in the central area, at Fugaku Uchiha's house, Sasuke Uchiha went to bed after dinner. Big brother, will you take me to the ninja academy tomorrow? Sasuke suddenly turned, his eyes hopeful. Sure. Itachi forced a smile. Great. Sasuke, oblivious to what was about to happen, closed the door, already picturing his brother walking him to school. Sasuke admired his genius brother and always looked up to him. Sigh. Fugaku Uchiha, who'd been quiet all this time, sighed and said somberly, "So, you chose to side with the Leaf Village after all. Itachi, are you going to do it?" Mikoto Uchiha, who'd been washing dishes, came into the living room and looked at Itachi with a calm expression. "Father, mother, you." Itachi, who'd been wrestling with his decision, was thrown into a panic, caught off guard by his parents' directness. He hadn't expected them to figure out his plan so easily. "Silly boy, we've watched you grow up." Mikoto chuckled and shook her head. "Whatever you do, your father and I will support you. We're just worried about Sasuke." Mikoto's eyes clouded over. "Father, mother, I." Itachi was at a loss, unable to say anything. "That's my son." Fugaku looked more relaxed. "You chose to side with the Leaf Village. I don't blame you, because I'm your father, understand? As clan head, I've failed. Do it." Fugaku and Mikoto exchanged a look, a sense of relief washing over their faces. They could accept dying at the hands of their own son. I. Itachi fought back tears, his hand trembling as he drew his short sword. He didn't want to do this, but he carried so much on his shoulders, the Leaf Village, Sasuke's life, etc. He was also deeply disappointed with the Uchiha clan. "I'm sorry." Itachi grabbed his Anbu mask and slipped it on, hiding his pained face. He raised his sword and struck down his parents without hesitation. "Begin. Begin. Begin." As Itachi struck, the root ninja hidden in the Uchiha compound grinned, but, just then, click. Click. Click, a strange noise echoed. Cracks appeared in the air throughout the Uchiha district, like a mirror shattering. Chapter 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Quiet. Absolute silence. Like staring into a mirror, the entire Uchiha clan compound went deathly silent in an instant. Unbelievable, nobody expected the air to crack like glass. What's going on? Why is the air cracking? It doesn't look like ninjutsu. We're screwed. We're exposed. The Uchiha ninja seemed to know something's up. Under the bright moonlight, a wave of fear washed over the root ninja who had already infiltrated the Uchiha compound, ready to strike. Even with all their intel, they were clueless. Meanwhile. Holy crap, the air cracked. Something's off. I'm feeling a lot of unfamiliar chakra signatures. Oh no, enemy attack. Enemy attack. Many of the Uchiha clan's elite ninja instantly reacted to the air cracking. Several sensory-type ninja even picked up on something, and what did they find? Ignorance was bliss, because when they sensed it, they were shocked. Out of nowhere, a ton of unfamiliar chakra was flooding the Uchiha compound. No way. Without a doubt, it was an enemy attack, the kind that would wipe them out. As the largest clan in Konoha, despite being squeezed and suppressed by Konoha's leaders over the years, the foundations were still there, especially when faced with an unexpected situation like this. Almost instantly, the Uchiha ninja went into battle mode and rushed toward the central plaza of the Uchiha compound. As for the civilians of the Uchiha clan, sensing something was wrong, they quickly headed for the pre-dug underground tunnels. Damn it, forget about these cracks appearing out of nowhere. I'll take care of everything. A root ninja hiding in the shadows gritted his teeth and roared, Uchiha civilians and ninja alike, leave no survivors. Show no mercy. Alright. No more sneak attacks. The root shinobi was furious, because when fighting a major clan like the Uchiha, catching them off guard was the most effective approach. Now, they were forced to face them head-on. Swish. Swish, star, the sound of air being sliced echoed as root ninja burst from underground, the shadows, and rooftops, coldly attacking the nearest Uchiha ninja. Root ninja. Damn Konoha higher-ups, are they trying to wipe out the Uchiha clan? Seeing the black figures emerging from the darkness, an elite shinobi of the Konoha military police force quickly activated his Sharingan and clenched his kunai. He was about to start a massacre. Combat stations. We'll take en route. We're fighting Konoha Village. Caught off guard by the sudden appearance of the root ninja, the Uchiha ninja quickly snapped out of their initial panic and became enraged, especially a small number of the more radical Uchiha ninja. Perhaps they had had enough, or maybe they were simply furious at what Konoha's higher-ups had done, but their long-simmering dissatisfaction exploded. They instantly activated their Sharingan, but, just when the situation was about to explode. A scream cut through the air. A root ninja was hit by a crack in the air, his body instantly pulverized into a cloud of blood mist. He didn't even get a chance to perform ninjutsu. Get out of here, rumble, without any warning, a deafening roar erupted. Then, to the astonishment of countless Uchiha ninja, the cracks visible in the air of the Uchiha compound seemed to gain a mind of their own. They began attacking the root ninja one by one. Bang. 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 In an instant, before the root ninja could react, they were violently detonated, turning into a cloud of blood mist and vanishing. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Wind blade. Mystic secret worm clone. Shadow clone jutsu. Some of the root ninja reacted, their faces twisting in shock. They frantically channeled their chakra and began weaving hand seals, desperately trying to destroy those cracks. However, the ideal was appealing, but the reality was harsh. Bang. Bang. Explosions echoed. The moment their ninjutsu touched the air rifts, it was blasted apart by a concussive force. Even the shadow clones were useless. The rifts seemed to be able to tell the real body from the fakes. How is this possible? Faced with such strange power, many root ninja within the Uchiha compound were horrified. Fear gripped their hearts. Meanwhile, in the central area, at Uchiha Fugaku's house, Uchiha Itachi watched as his short sword was instantly shattered by the air cracks. Disbelief spread across his face. He glanced at his father, Uchiha Fugaku, his expression asking, "What kind of secret Uchiha weapon is this? Why don't I know about it?" "Don't know." Seeing Uchiha Itachi's puzzled eyes, Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Mikoto were equally confused. Suddenly, cracks appeared in the air. What's more, those rifts seemed to be controlled by a sudden voice. "Wait a minute, why does that voice sound familiar?" Uchiha Fugaku frowned, as if trying to remember something. But he couldn't recall who the voice belonged to. No way. Looks like I can't die yet. After a moment, Uchiha Fugaku said decisively to Uchiha Mikoto, "Take Uchiha Sasuke to the Uchiha clan's bomb shelter. I'll take responsibility as the Uchiha clan's patriarch." Seeing that his father didn't want to die, Uchiha Itachi was a bit overwhelmed. What was going on? "You don't want to die, so I'm going to kill you. P.S. Tips, collection, flowers and reviews are welcome. Thank you." Chapter 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dad. Itachi Uchiha took a breath, his eyes locked on his father, and said slowly, "The Uchiha clan doesn't need to exist." "What did you just say?" Fugaku Uchiha, who was heading for the door, stopped dead in his tracks, turned, and snapped, "Itachi, you're not just my son, you're an Uchiha. Don't ever let me hear you say something like that again." "No." Facing his father's sudden outburst, Itachi felt a pang of guilt, but he still drew his kunai. Konoha and the Uchiha can't both survive. If you don't want to die today, you have to. Itachi, Fugaku sighed, his eyes narrowing slightly. "You're my son. I'm more than just your son. I'm a ninja of Konoha. Dad, I've carried too much. Do you even understand?" A flash of pain crossed Itachi's face, but, thinking of the will of fire, the deep rift between Konoha and the Uchiha, and Sasuke, he steeled himself and roared, "The Uchiha deserve to die. You, as my parents, should understand there's no way for us to coexist with Konoha." Suddenly, Itachi's eyes turned crimson, the intricate pattern of the Mangekyo Sharingan appearing. he'd sensed the shift in his parents' attitude. Itachi was losing it, completely losing it. All he could think about was killing Fugaku and Mikoto, wiping out the Uchiha clan for good. Itachi, as your father, I've failed to guide you. Fugaku, facing Itachi and his Mangekyo Sharingan, activated his own, his eyes cold. I get it now. Sasuke needs to be taken care of, and so do me and your mother. You're already a lost cause, Sasuke can't be too, right? Dad, how could you say that? Bang, maybe he just couldn't take it. Itachi's face went blank, his heart twisting with pain as flashes of memories with Fugaku flooded his mind. He remembered his father proudly saying, Itachi, you're a chip off the old block. Now, his father was saying he was a lost cause, that he wanted to train Sasuke instead. Did that mean his father had given up on him and was planning to lead the Uchiha in a rebellion against Konoha? How could this be happening? In that moment, Itachi felt the full weight of the world's malice. He was doing the right thing, so why couldn't anyone understand? Kill. Words were useless. Itachi, consumed by rage, spat out a single word, his gaze icy. Fine. Fugaku didn't bother with words. He drew his kunai, saying flatly, I'll show you how strong your father is. The fight seemed about to erupt. In the original timeline, the extermination plan was postponed for 2 years. By then, Itachi's power, coupled with Fugaku's willingness to give up, led to the Uchiha clan, once Konoha's top family, being wiped out overnight. Now, Itachi had only just awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan and was clearly outmatched. Itachi, you've been such a disappointment as a son. Just as Itachi and Fugaku were about to clash, Mikoto Uchiha, carrying Sasuke, stepped between them, her Sharingan already at the 3-tomo stage. Smack, a sharp slap echoed as Mikoto's hand connected with Itachi's cheek. The force sent him stumbling back. Mikoto wasn't holding back. As an Uchiha ninja, she rarely displayed her strength after marrying Fugaku, but with the 3-tomo Sharingan, she was still an elite jonin. Itachi was completely stunned by the slap to his right cheek. He couldn't process what had just happened. He didn't expect his mother, who always doted on him, to hit him so hard. Let me have a turn. Fugaku's eyes gleamed with a hint of amusement. He stepped forward and slapped Itachi on his left cheek. You unfilial brat. You want to betray your village and destroy your clan, wiping out the Uchiha and killing your own parents. You're no better than an animal. Smack, another red mark appeared on Itachi's left cheek. My turn. Mikoto's face was grim as she slapped Itachi again. I'll go next. Fugaku followed suit. Smack. 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 The sound of slaps echoed through the air. In less than a minute, Itachi's cheeks were swollen and red. He stood there, completely dumbfounded, staring at his parents as if they were strangers. My brother's getting beat up, and I'm supposed to be asleep. In Mikoto's arms, Sasuke Uchiha, who had been pretending to be asleep, peeked at his brother being slapped by their parents, squeezed his eyes tightly in fear of getting caught. The young Sasuke didn't understand what was going on, he just thought his brother had done something wrong and was being punished. Chapter 66. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guess I'll be a good boy from now on. After watching his brother get clobbered in mixed doubles, Uchiha Sasuke squeezed his eyes shut and made a silent vow. Ever since he was little, all he ever heard was how Itachi was a genius and the pride of their parents. Thinking about it, Sasuke drifted off to sleep. After casting a simple illusion, Mikoto nodded at Fugaku, letting him know Sasuke was completely out. Get Sasuke to the bomb shelter. Fugaku took a deep breath, his voice heavy. I haven't been a great patriarch or father, but I'm stepping up now. Even if the Uchiha clan goes down, Konoha is going to pay a price. Determination flashed in his eyes. As for Itachi, he was a lost cause. You can't wake up someone who's hopeless. If they could escape, he and Mikoto were still young, they could always start over. Got it. Mikoto glanced at Itachi, a flicker of sadness crossing her face, but she hugged Sasuke and left. I get it. Mom, Dad, you must be under the strongest illusion, Koto Amatsukami. As Mikoto turned away, Itachi seemed to have a realization. Someone's messed with your heads. How else would you be acting so out of character? Quick, Dad, stand still. Let me kill you, so the illusion breaks, and the Uchiha clan will be saved. Are you nuts? Fugaku had finally had enough. He was the head of the Uchiha clan. No illusion could be pulled off under his nose without him noticing. Besides, he knew he hadn't been tricked. Koto Amatsukami. Please. Shisui was dead, and those Sharingan eyes were locked up tight with the Konoha elders. Then, seeing his mother leave with Sasuke, and his father refusing to believe him, Itachi felt betrayed. His eyes went cold and dark as he made hand signs at lightning speed. Fire style, great fireball technique, whoosh, star, the air crackled, chakra surging, Itachi unleashed a massive fireball from his mouth, aiming for Mikoto's back. Itachi, you're fighting me. Fugaku's expression didn't change. He flashed in front of his son, making the same hand signs. Fire style, great fireball technique, boom, star, the two fireballs collided in a massive explosion, ripping through the living room, swish. Swish, star. As the house disintegrated, Itachi and Fugaku locked eyes and leapt away. At the same time, throughout the Uchiha compound, blood mist filled the air. Root ninja were being obliterated by shockwaves from above. Let's go. The Uchiha ninja, however, were unfazed. They'd figured out the shockwaves only targeted Root, and began converging on the center of the compound, their strength in numbers. Gathered together, the Uchiha could unleash terrifying power. Damn it, how can this be? On a rooftop, Aburame Ryoma dodged the shockwaves, watching Root ninja get annihilated. Was this what Lord Danzo wanted? These were Danzo's hand-picked ninja. Yet they were being turned to dust, letting the Uchiha clan fight without actually fighting. The Root organization had already lost over a third of their forces. How can this be? Whoosh! Danzo appeared beside Ryoma, his face a mask of fury. Everything had been prepared for the Uchiha's extermination. With Itachi on the inside, it was just a matter of time. That's why Danzo hadn't planned on getting involved, instead waiting to collect Sharingan eyes after everything was over. Now it seemed he'd underestimated them. That deafening roar meant the Uchiha clan had a hidden powerhouse. Lord Danzo, what do we do? We already have fewer ninja than the Uchiha, Ryoma said, panic rising in his voice. If this keeps up, we'll be wiped out. Regroup the Root ninja. We can't fight scattered like this. Giving up on the Uchiha was not an option. Danzo gritted his teeth, looking towards the Uchiha plaza. We're going to the central square. The Uchiha are gathering there, right? Yes, sir. Ryoma signaled to the surrounding Root ninja. Swish. Swish. Swish, star. Moments later, the Root ninja spread throughout the Uchiha compound received the order and started converging on the central plaza. As the Root ninja gathered, the shockwaves in the air suddenly vanished. Phew, the shockwaves are gone. Let's go. Assemble. We'll have to face the Uchiha head-on. Finally, I can fight without holding back. With the shockwaves gone, the Root ninja breathed a collective sigh of relief and sped towards the central plaza. Chapter 67. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Outside the Uchiha compound. As the plan to wipe out the Uchiha got underway, Konoha's shadow operatives initiated a large-scale illusion barrier, meticulously prepared to isolate the Uchiha district. The goal was to contain the conflict within the Uchiha borders and prevent widespread repercussions for Konoha Village. No one beyond the Uchiha clan grounds noticed the spatial distortions taking place within the Uchiha district. Even the faint scent of blood from fallen Root ninjas was readily dismissed by those outside as the Uchiha spilling their own, inside Ryuan Uchiha's room. They're gathering. Uchiha Ryuan muttered, shrugging slightly. Guess I'll take things to their conclusion. He just used his observation haki and tremor fruit powers to ambush the Root ninjas entering the Uchiha district, also projecting his voice to them. Moreover, using the minute spatial rifts permeating the Uchiha district via 910, he'd subtly altered Fugaku and Mikoto Uchiha's thinking with his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan's Koto Amatsukami, leading to their sudden awakening. Without his intervention, Itachi Uchiha would have likely killed them as the original story went. Of course, he hadn't anticipated Itachi's reaction, spiraling into darkness. Koto Amatsukami's cooldown is a year, so it's okay. Sensing the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Ryuan slowly rose. He didn't regret using it on Fugaku and Mikoto. Now it was his turn. Meanwhile, under the bright moonlight, on the large square in the Uchiha district, the two sides stood arrayed for battle. On one side were the Uchiha Clan ninjas, led by Fugaku Uchiha, numbering over 600. On the other side were the remaining root ninjas, less than 300 strong, led by Danzo Shimura and Itachi Uchiha. Chief, Konoha's higher-ups are way too shady. We're not just fighting back, we're wiping out root. Itachi Uchiha, that turncoat, even after getting smacked around by the chief, he still doesn't get it. He's a disgrace to the Uchiha. Fueled by rage, the assembled Uchiha Clan ninjas, now fully aware of Root's genocidal intentions, were unified in their resolve to defend the clan's honor. Across the way, the Root ninjas were silent, visibly uncomfortable. Originally, catching the Uchiha off guard would have virtually guaranteed success, but fate had other plans. The sudden spatial tears inflicted heavy losses on Root before the fighting even began. Itachi, what's going on? Danzo Shimura asked, his face dark. Why isn't your father, Fugaku Uchiha, dead yet? I'll kill him myself later. Itachi Uchiha, expressionless but sensing the lingering sting on his cheek, replied in a low voice, the Uchiha clan has a secret weapon I don't know about. We need to be cautious. Secret weapon. Danzo Shimura nodded, sneering. I have one of my own. While he didn't know what secret weapon the Uchiha clan used to create those spatial rifts, Danzo knew the masked man was still in the game. Once the masked man appeared, and everyone attacked together, he was confident they would obliterate the Uchiha clan. After all, real battles are determined by high-end combat power, not sheer numbers. Whoosh, star. At that moment, space rippled in a swirl over the square. And a mysterious figure wearing a swirl mask and a black robe appeared in the sky. Here he comes. At Uchiha Obito's arrival, Danzo Shimura smiled. His forces were assembled, and it was time to begin. It seems the Uchiha clan still holds secrets. After appearing, the masked man, Uchiha Obito, glanced at Fugaku Uchiha and said coldly, bring out whoever spoke earlier. After today, the Uchiha clan will vanish from the ninja world. You're the one who instigated the Nine-Tails attack. Hearing this, Fugaku Uchiha's expression changed drastically. He glanced at Danzo Shimura, who stood a short distance away, and said in disbelief, you colluded with outsiders during the Nine-Tails attack 7 years ago. And now, you're collaborating with outsiders again to wipe out the Uchiha. That's pretty low. Ha 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 ha. Danzo Shimura threw his head back and laughed maniacally, uncaringly. You're all dying here today. Who's going to know who I colluded with? Damn, let's get them. Chief, give the order. If we die, we die. Our Uchiha clan isn't a bunch of pushovers. Let's do this. No longer able to hold back, the Uchiha ninjas, faces flushed with anger at Danzo Shimura's overweening ambition and obvious hatred toward the Uchiha clan, began to shout. Quiet. Fugaku Uchiha held up his right hand. Don't worry. I know what to do. This. The more than 600 Uchiha ninjas looked slightly frustrated but still clenched their fists and fell silent. Itachi, let's wrap this up, right now. The next moment, Fugaku Uchiha took a deep breath, stepped forward, and said with a sigh. Fine. Itachi Uchiha said nothing more. Whoosh, star. With a surge of chakra, Itachi Uchiha's black eyes suddenly turned crimson, revealing the pattern of his Mangekyo Sharingan, and then, a massive red skeletal structure enveloped Itachi Uchiha. Immediately, meridians and flesh began to cover the skeleton, and they put on the armor of the black dog. Finally, a red fourth-stage Susanoo appeared on the square, wielding the sword of Tatsuka in its right hand and holding the Yada mirror in its left. Hand. In that case. Watching Itachi Uchiha summon his Susanoo, Fugaku Uchiha's Sharingan also activated, transforming into the Mangekyo Sharingan, but, just as he was about to summon his own Susanoo, swish, star, before anyone could react, a blur charged toward Itachi Uchiha's Susanoo. Not good. Itachi Uchiha frowned and could only raise the sword of Tatsuka to block the attack, clang, star. A sharp sound rang out, and a terrifying shockwave exploded outward. The powerful force shook the Uchiha clan's ground, boom, star, with a deafening roar. Itachi Uchiha's freshly summoned Susanoo shattered instantly before everyone's eyes. P.S. Asking for tips. Collection. Flowers and reviews, inspire new things. Thank you. Chapter 68. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rumble. The instant the red Susanoo shattered, a terrifying energy blast ripped through the square, spiderwebbing cracks across the stone and kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Thump star. Uchiha Itachi, still inside the broken remains of his Susanoo, didn't even have time to react. He slammed into the ground, a few mouthfuls of blood spraying from his lips. His Sharingan eyes, now bloodshot, were wide with disbelief. How, his Susanoo, gone? Just like that? What the hell? Did his Susanoo just get blown up? No way. A beat of silence, then chaos. Root ninjas and Uchiha clan members alike stared, ghostly expressions on their faces. Was this real? Itachi's Susanoo was just summoned. Now it's in pieces. Unbelievable. Wait, that stance. That's the feeling. Suddenly, both Shimura Danzo and Uchiha Obito, hovering in the air, seemed to realize something. Their faces twisted in shock. When did our clan become so weak that it was on the verge of destruction? In the stark moonlight, a figure emerged from the dust, then, without warning, Uchiha Fugaku froze, Uchiha Itachi froze, even the masked man, Uchiha Obito, was stunned. The root ninjas and Uchiha clan members on the scene gaped, their eyes wide with shock. It's... Even Black Zetsu and White Zetsu, lurking in the shadows, stared at the figure with stunned expressions. Inside their minds, they screamed that it couldn't be real. How? Silence. The entire square was dead quiet. Time seemed to stop within the Uchiha compound, leaving only the sound of ragged breaths. Uchiha reunion. Well. Finally, after an eternity of silence, the masked man, Uchiha Obito, struggling to keep his composure, said coldly, 7 years ago, the masked guy with the white beard, that was you, wasn't it? And that mysterious voice just now, you again? Guilty as charged. Ryunin said plainly, you nailed it. All me. Who? If everyone was just staring blankly before, that one sentence unleashed a wave of fear. Ninjas throughout the square audibly gulped, their eyes wide with terror. It was Ryunin all along. Shock. Absolutely mind-blowing shock. Impossible, no one suspected that Uchiha Ryunin had been hiding so much, so well. Root had completely dismissed him from the beginning. Even the Uchiha clan, on this very night of their extermination, hadn't considered Ryunin. He just maintained such a low profile within the clan, even after the Ninetales attack. Fugaku sometimes forgot that Ryunin had once used his sheer presence to silence the more radical Uchiha elders. Now, Ryunin was pulling off the ultimate reveal, the countless root ninjas and Uchiha clan members couldn't process it. The reversal was too much. Man, it feels so good to finally not have to hide anything. Ryunin said, stretching languidly, 10 years, it had been 10 long years, but the moment of truth was here. Now that the cards were on the table, it was time for Konoha to get a shake-up. The entire ninja world was about to change. With that thought, Ryunin unleashed his power. Boom. A terrifying aura erupted from Ryunin's body. This wasn't just Conqueror's haki. It was the raw presence of Ryunin himself. Having unlocked Whitebeard's power, Ryunin himself barely grasped the full extent of his strength. For now, he'd contain it to the Uchiha compound. To avoid drawing the attention of Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others, first, he'd deal with the Uchiha clan, then he'd give the Third Hokage, Sarutobi, and Konoha a big surprise. Asterisk boom. The air in the entire Uchiha district went rigid, sensing this overwhelming aura. Danzo, Itachi, Obito, and Fugaku all felt a crushing pressure. Most of the root ninjas and Uchiha clan members felt like they couldn't breathe, weaker ones felt their bodies and even their souls tremble. How strong is this guy? That's insane. What kind of monster is Ryunin? Danzo, Itachi, and Obito were speechless. They looked at Ryunin, the monster standing before them, and felt like they'd swallowed something foul. They thought they were on the 10th floor, but this Uchiha Ryunin, hiding for years, had been sitting up on the 100th. The sheer difference was unbearable, but the truth was right there, in front of them. They couldn't deny it. Chapter 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, time to show off a little and blow your minds. Uchiha glanced around, a smirk playing on his lips. He focused, activating the Chakra within his immortal body. Boom. Another wave of intense Chakra pulsed outwards. Uchiha already had a formidable physical presence. Now, combined with these terrifying Chakra fluctuations, his aura exploded to a whole new level. And then, as everyone watched, his eyes began to glow crimson. 1 Magatama, 2 Magatama, 3 Magatama, finally, a swirling kaleidoscope formed in his eyes, the 3-tomo Mangekyo. Such intense chakra. Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Shunin has the Mangekyo Sharingan too. Chakra levels comparable to a tailed beast, plus the Mangekyo Sharingan, and taijutsu that can take down a Susanoo. This. Buzz. Sensing the escalating chakra pouring off Uchiha, and seeing those bright red, demonic Mangekyo Sharingan, the root ninjas and even the Uchiha clan members in the square felt their hearts freeze and their souls go numb. Jaws dropped, eyes bugged out. Was this some kind of joke? Just how much was Uchiha hiding? The off-the-charts taijutsu was one thing, but the chakra levels. And the Mangekyo Sharingan on top of it all. Was this guy even human? Impossible. Shimura Danzo was stunned, utterly floored. The Uchiha extermination plan was spinning out of control. The Uchiha were supposed to be easy to wipe out, right? How could Uchiha suddenly pull this off? He'd thought Uchiha was just an elite taijutsu jonin, but what was this? Insane taijutsu, 100 million chakra points, and now the Mangekyo Sharingan. Danzo felt the full weight of the Uchiha's wrath bearing down on him. He'd orchestrated this extermination plan, and now he was the one getting screwed over. How is this possible? Why is he so strong? Uchiha Itachi pushed himself up from the ground, staring at the godlike figure of Uchiha Lien, a whirlwind of emotions churning inside him. Isn't this a bit much? In midair, the masked man, Uchiha Obito, wore a deeply conflicted expression. He'd thought he was powerful, but, it seemed this Uchiha was playing a much deeper game. Impossible. That's the immortal body and the Mangekyo Sharingan. Hidden in the shadows, Black Zetsu finally felt a cold chill run down his spine. If this Uchiha had been holding back all this time, the implications were terrifying. This was an incredibly dangerous individual. More importantly, he couldn't fathom how an Uchiha could awaken the immortal body. He'd only sensed that level of chakra in the Uzumaki clan and Senju Hashirama. Black Zetsu, our intel is way off. White Zetsu, fused with Black Zetsu, looked grim, and said slowly, this Uchiha is the real mastermind of the clan. If I'm reading this right, this Uchiha has been biding his time, waiting until he was powerful enough to show his hand when the Uchiha were on the brink of destruction. We're in deep trouble. If things go south, be ready to bail. Black Zetsu clearly understood the severity of the situation. This Uchiha was playing possum, luring everyone into a trap. Got it, Baiju said in confusion, looks like things are about to get wild in Konoha. At the same moment. Our Uchiha clan actually has a ninja this strong. Uchiha is unbelievably powerful. Seriously? Looks like when the chips are down, we Uchiha are still the ones you can count on. Unlike the ninjas paralyzed with fear, the Uchiha clan members finally snapped out of their stupor. After a moment's thought, they realized, wait a minute, this Uchiha is one of us. The stronger he was, the better it was for the Uchiha clan. They should be pumped and excited, right? At the very least, the Uchiha clan wouldn't be wiped out, and they might even be able to launch a counterattack against Root. Uchiha Fugaku breathed a sigh of relief, the tension draining out of him. He'd been worrying about what would happen to the civilians, the old, the weak, and the sick if they failed. Now that he thought about it, he didn't have to worry so much. Maybe Uchiha Fugaku didn't even notice that Uchiha had altered his thinking slightly with other gods. At least, he wouldn't be unmoved in the face of Uchiha Itachi's ruthless massacre of the Uchiha clan like in the original work, but would voluntarily let Uchiha Itachi kill him. Danzo. Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan locked onto Shimura Danzo, and he said flatly, I didn't want to get involved, but, with the Uchiha on the verge of extinction, I had no choice but to show my hand. Buzz. As he spoke, Uchiha clenched his right fist, a shimmering white energy swirling around it. Danger. Extreme danger. Danzo Shimura was still relatively young at this point, and his instincts were sharp. Facing Uchiha's fist, he felt every cell in his body screaming danger, and cold sweat poured down his face. No, this can't be happening. The next moment, Shimura Danzo gritted his teeth and barked, all of you, attack him. Stop Uchiha. Right. With that, Danzo Shimura, unwilling to lose any more face, turned and ran. What was he supposed to do? 7 years ago, Uchiha had managed to contain the Ninetales. Now, who knew how powerful he was? And he'd awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. What Danzo didn't know was that Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan was already the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Just wait until I get back with reinforcements. As he retreated, Shimura Danzo seated inwardly. He vowed to tell Sarutobi Hiruzen and the elders everything about Uchiha and gather all the power of Konoha to crush the Uchiha clan, to suppress Uchiha once and for all. Attack. Get him. Kill him. Bound by the seal of tongue, the Root ninjas in the square had no choice but to charge forward. In an instant, over 300 chakra signatures and a storm of ninjutsu surged towards Uchiha. Air shock. Seeing this, Uchiha didn't waste any words. A glint flashed in his eyes, and he threw his right fist forward. Boom! The white halo exploded outwards, unleashing a concussive force that shattered the earth. Plowing forward with a deafening roar, the air cracked again, and in the next instant, the power of the shockwave, carrying a devastating force, detonated the mixed bag of ninjutsu used by the 300-plus Root ninjas, and made a series of deafening roars. Oh, crap! Seeing their attacks obliterated, the Root ninjas' expressions turned ashen. Some tried to dodge the aftershocks, others tried to use defensive ninjutsu. Too bad, it was too late. Whitebeard at his peak was a monster. Even though Uchiha wasn't going all out, he was still terrifying. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the terrifying concussive force slammed into the Root ninjas. The bodies of the Root ninjas froze, their faces etched with fear as they watched the shockwave heading towards them. A second later, the bodies of these Root ninjas started cracking one after another. Then, they exploded, blown apart. Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Silence. The entire square went dead quiet. Suddenly, it was like time and space themselves had ground to a halt. Everyone stared. Obito, Itachi, Fugaku, and all the other masked figures froze, watching the aftermath of Ryuen's punch. Over 300 Root ninjas had just been obliterated. Everyone knew Ryuen was strong, but this? He hadn't just attacked, he'd detonated the Root ninjas with a single blow. Their bodies had literally exploded. This kind of destructive power wasn't just scary. It was insane. The Root, this is it. The Uchiha ninjas were stunned. They opened their mouths, but nothing came out. The sheer visual impact of watching over 300 Root ninjas wiped out in an instant was overwhelming. This was supposed to be Konoha's Root, Danzo's elite, the best of the best. And yet, against Ryuen, they were completely outmatched. This feels beyond a simple bloodline limit. Hidden in the shadows, black and white zetsu were rattled. Ryuan's attack was something completely new to them, exposing their ignorance. Damn, glad I hauled ass. Danzo, frantically teleporting away from the Uchiha compound, heard the roar behind him. He risked a glance back and witnessed the shocking scene, a wave of blinding energy erasing more than 300 root ninjas. That's one scary dude. Gotta run, whoosh, another teleport, fueled by surging chakra. Danzo bolted like a dog with its tail between its legs. Reaching the Uchiha compound gates, a flicker of relief crossed his eyes. Finally, he was out. Without thinking, Danzo glanced back again, but his blood ran cold. He nearly jumped out of his skin. Ryuan stood right behind him, smiling like he was staring at a dead man. Running? Ryuan shrugged. Since you're here, might as well stay. Truth be told, Danzo was a bottom-tier Kage-level ninja. His obsession with the Sharingan wasn't about improving his strength. Unfortunately for him, he'd run into Ryuan, a cheat code of nature, blessed by 10 years of rewards. You. Danzo's face twisted. He instinctively started to form hand seals. But before he could finish, a scream ripped through the air. Ryuan's Kusanagi cleanly severed Danzo's gauze-wrapped right arm, blood splattered everywhere. Interlinking cells from Hashirama, but I never had a chance to transplant the Sharingan, Ryuan said, shaking his head. The moment you stepped onto Uchiha land, your fate was sealed. No, Ryuan, you can't kill me. Danzo clutched his severed arm, ignoring the gushing blood. His face contorted. You're strong, but, do you even know what the will of fire is? Everything I do is for Konoha's peace. Sure do. Ryuan chuckled. From now on, Konoha will be an Uchiha village. We'll handle keeping the peace just fine. You what? Danzo's eyes bulged. He froze. Konoha ruled by the Uchiha. Did that mean Sarutobi, the third Hokage, was going to be murdered? The thought of the Uchiha clan running roughshod over Konoha, dismantling everything the third Hokage had built, sent a jolt of fear through Danzo's heart. I have to get to the Hokage's office. Clutching his arm, Danzo muttered, the old man can't die. I have to become Hokage. I have to. You want to live, but others don't deserve to. Sighing, Ryuan shook his head at the pathetic figure before him. Without another word, he raised Kusanagi, thwack, a geyser of blood erupted, a clean cut appeared on Danzo's neck. I really don't want to die. Feeling his life slipping away, Danzo's body went rigid. His eyes widened in disbelief, his grotesque expression hardening on his face. He couldn't understand how his Uchiha extermination plan had failed, costing him his life. The irony was, he'd always fought the Uchiha, and now he was dying by their sword, a twist of fate indeed. At that exact moment, in the Hokage's office, late as it was, Koharu, Hamura, and Sarutobi showed no signs of fatigue. A faint excitement hung in the air, as if they were expecting good news. Cough. Suddenly, Sarutobi choked on his smoke. Something felt off. Something wrong. Tired, Sarutobi, Koharu and Hamura chuckled, seeing the old smoker cough. I'm fine, Sarutobi frowned, putting down his pipe. He picked up his tea and took a sip, clearing his throat, then shook his head. He'd felt a sudden, unsettling premonition. Maybe something went wrong with the Uchiha clan. Unlikely, Sarutobi chuckled dryly. He was just being paranoid. This Uchiha extermination plan was foolproof. How could anything go wrong? Of course, if it weren't for the barrier, he would have been enjoying the live broadcast with his telescope.